time. Something has got to happen because we can no longer go down the path that we're going down. This country won't last another 6 months. This country won't last another 12 months if something doesn't happen. So it's time to flip the switch. It's time to get involved. It's time to move the line forward. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. So I don't care what flip the switch is. I don't care if that means that all of this nonsense is nonsense, or if some of it's true.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Liberty Warrior Nation. It is Tuesday, April 5th, and welcome to the show tonight. I am filling in for Mike along with Mary Kay. I'll bring her in shortly. Mike has some family stuff to take care of tonight. He may have time to stop in and say hi and chat. If he can, he will. Otherwise, you got me tonight along with Mary Kay. We're going to cover a lot of the hot things going on in the news today. A lot of stuff was hey, Mary Kay, getting updated. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Tammy?
I'm doing just fine tonight, Mary Kay. It's been one heck of a day like it usually is, right?
They get busy.
We
They
get
get
busy.
busy.
Yes, they do. So before we get going on the show, I wanted to let everybody get an update, Mary Kay, on the merchandise orders. So ladies and gentlemen, we did fill some orders today, the ones that we had mugs and t-shirts for. So some of you will be that you've been waiting a long time for your orders. Thanks so much for your patience and understanding. Mike does have to put another order in for some mugs. And then for the women's V-necks, those are the ones that we were waiting on. He said that the vendor said they would be in March or April. They still aren't in yet. He made a call today, and he's going to try to get an answer from them. So those of you who ordered women's V-neck Liberty Warrior Nation t-shirts, as soon as we get those in, we'll send them out to you. Also, the special order mugs, when you special order a certain mug, he's going to try to get those out by the end of next week because he's had to order some more of those. And then there's a couple more coins that I think have to get given out yet, but I'm not sure that we have the addresses of everybody. So those of you that may be waiting on a coin that you won from the last coin giveaway, if you could do me a big favor and email me, Tammy Nation at libertywarriornation.com. Just let me know your address and stuff again. I just want to make sure that we have everything that we need to finish getting those out there. So we've gotten behind. It's because a lot to do with the orders. We just don't have the stuff in that we needed. And so we got on top of that today, and hopefully we'll get everything to everybody as soon as possible. We'll keep you posted. And once again, if you guys have any questions about your orders, please email me, TammyNation at libertywarriornation.com. So with that said, boom, shibba-bang. How are you again? You said you're good, Mayor.
I'm doing good.
You want to slow me down a bit, girl? I didn't even have caffeine.
You're doing great.
Good. So I thought we could get open in some prayer because we have a lot to cover tonight, which I'm excited about. It's very exciting with things happening, Mary, and I always love to be able to share it with you, and you always have good input as well. So I'm looking forward to the show tonight.
I am too, and I think there are angels all around us that are watching too.
Yep, I hope so.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Everybody in chat, please join with us, please. Heavenly Father, we just join together in this miraculous moment, free of the past and free of the future, sure of this perfect, eternal point of communion with you, our Father, our Creator. And Lord, we just offer up this evening to you for your purpose. We ask that everybody who enters into chat would be blessed with the power and the presence of the Christ light. We ask that the Holy Spirit would enter into here, would choose every thought that we think, every word that is spoken, and every topic that is discussed. We just give thanks for this amazing time we're living in, and we move forward with joy and laughter and giggles, knowing all is well. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. And I'm sorry if you heard my music a little bit. My phone is on mute. However, I got a call. My daughter needs to be picked up for work, and I don't think she knew I was going on the air. So I said, you need to text your father because I'm on the air. So I apologize for that. But I think that went through. So, Mary, so much going on. I've got just a whole list of things that I'll shoot through some of them. And then if you got some stuff, obviously you can add your stuff as well, hon. But
Okay.
the first thing I wanted to put out there is, the Senate's going to vote on the nomination for Jackson, right? The Supreme Court judge nominee. They're going to do another vote apparently Thursday. And it's very important that if you don't think she should become the next Supreme Court justice, that you call and let your senators know, because there's been people that have been doing that and adding pressure to them with their opinions. And it's been swaying their thoughts, because 8 out of 8 times, I don't know if you're aware of this, Judge Jackson had the least leniency, I guess, sentence you would call it, for these what's the word that I want to use for these people that prey on little children? I guess that's what I'll use because I can't use the regular word.
They're in the business of selling them.
There we go. That's a good way to do it, to say it. Anyway, she sentenced these people 8 out of 8 times, the most lenient sentence she could give them. And she also had a legal argument that she had published that said we are far too harsh on them, that we need to be a little more lenient and understanding with them. So basically, she's an apologist to those kind of people. So if that infuriates you and you don't agree with it, you can go to senators, what is it? The senator's website, which is contactsenators.com. Look at Tracy Q. I couldn't spit it out. She's right on it.
Good.
So if you guys go there, there's a list of your states and you click on it, and then the email for your senator as well as the phone number is there. You can give them a call, or you can go ahead and email them, or do both and just have your voice heard. It's very crucial because there's another vote coming Thursday. And remember, this is a lifetime appointment, and that's kind of scary to me. That's a good 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how long she survives or whatever, her mortality rate. We'll see. But also you need to know that Susan Collins, Mitt Romney, and Lisa Murkowski already put in that they were going to vote for her to be nominated. They were for her to get let in. So if you have, Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, or Susan Collins in your state, it would be a good idea to get a hold of them and let your voice be heard.
Exactly. And everybody has been very frustrated over the last couple of years. And now is the time you're given definite information. Tracy Q put that link in there, so it's easy to do. And we all need to be responsible in whatever way we can, not only just to ourselves, our own family, our local community, which is so important, but just picking up the telephone and taking this action is so important.
Absolutely. So because it is time sensitive, of course, that's why it's really important that, everybody get on it, because tomorrow's Wednesday already. So, if there's enough time, it's just a matter of taking that action, because we've talked on the show before about how important your voice is and how your one call or your one email can represent 1,000 or more people, so that's pretty impressive. Your voice will mean something. And another thing that I found interesting, Mary, was, Elon Musk, you probably heard that, bought a $3 million stake in Twitter. And
Yes.
so this is interesting. I find this interesting because he owns now 4 times the amount of equity that this previous CEO, Mr. Jack, did. And not only that, he's now been appointed to the Twitter's board of directors. And Twitter's new CEO, his name is Parag, and I don't know his last name. I'll see. It's Agrawel. Agrawel actually came out. So we'll say the CEO, Parag, came out and said that, Elon is passionate, and he's also intense critic of this service. So that's why we think that he would be an asset to this service in the long term. So I found that pretty amusing. And the shares for Twitter rose 23% as a result of that. And the thing that I found funny was Twitter blew up, different people saying, okay, now that you're here, now that you own most of the equity in this company, it's time to bring Mr. T back. And then people were making up memes. And then there was a video. Did you see the video that was made?
I did not. Was it on Twitter?
The video was on Twitter, and somebody made it, and I think it was for Elon when that's a game changer. That's right, Tina. And I think it was a video that it was Elon himself in the video, and I think it was when he was launching his Tesla into space or something. But instead, it was somebody on Twitter typing. And it was like a little statement, and it ended up, "Here comes your favorite president," and then it was Mr. T back, and then he was like, "Ah," and everybody in the whole building was like, "Ah," and it was a really interesting video. So I think that Twitter already lightened up at just the thought of him coming back with mean tweets, and with Elon now being a major equity person involved in this. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see what happens with it. We hope that he's a good guy, right?
Absolutely. There's been mixed information out there, over the last couple of years about what his actual motives are and what his background has been, that sort of thing. But I think this late in the game, that if he were not running with the good boys, I think that might have been blocked. And tomorrow I'll have to get back on Twitter. When they removed President Trump, President T, when they removed him, I left also. So I'll have to get back on there and pay attention now.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. It'll be interesting. But you know what? Things are just changing rapidly. We say that all the time. And I just read that he was appointed to the board of directors this afternoon. And it's just, everything's just moving so extremely fast, And the other thing I wanted to talk about also was Trump also endorsed Sarah Palin. Remember Sarah Palin
Yes.
of Alaska? Did you like her that first go around when she was out there, out and about?
I had mixed feelings because her running mate was No Name and No Name McCain, and so I couldn't really figure out for sure which side she was on, but it appears through the years that there's been enough time to really kind of decipher that I do believe she's a good person. I know she loves her state. So I'm excited about her running, and I'm sure that the state of Alaska is excited about her running, because the United States needs those oil reserves right now. We need some of that oil that is up there accessed. We need these pipelines opened, all of that sort of thing. So to get anybody running in a position that is going to open up those energy resources, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. She also said that, basically, she was a big supporter of Mr. T, and Mr. T said, now it's my turn to support her. So that's one heck of an endorsement, and that's the way to pay it forward and pay it back. And last month, Sarah did say that people like Donald Trump, who has nothing to lose, like me, we got nothing to lose, and no more of this vanilla milk toast namby-wamby stuff that's been going on. So she always had that way with words, kind of silly words and stuff. And I love that about her. And she had, a really good personality, and she was very vibrant and stuff. And I, like you, was a little bit iffy, but she came around town. It just so I'm looking forward to it. She also said that America's at a tipping point, and as I've watched the far left destroy the country, I knew I had to step in and join the fight. So that's pretty good statements coming out the last little bit since she announced it, and she got supported by Mr. T. So I love that as well.
I have a little item. Were you finished there, dear?
Go ahead and do yours. Yep.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I thought was very interesting is here in Mexico, on the main newspaper that comes out of Mexico City. One of the headlines today was that 1,700 Ukrainians are being flown into Tijuana.
Whoa.
Now, why a border town? Why a border town? They could easily just fly them in to Mexico City. They could fly them into Guadalajara. Those are huge metroplexes, huge airports. And why are they choosing then to send them on into Tijuana? That was just a huge red flag for me. And hopefully Mike will be able to get the gentleman who's on the border back on here before too much longer, so we can get an update about what's actually happening there. Now, I do have a friend who drives back and forth across the border all the time. And, a couple weeks ago, they closed the American consulate at Laredo because there was so much violence going on in Nuevo Laredo, because they were taking out cartel members. Even at that, I am still seeing in the local news what appears to me to be an increased amount of violence. So I really think that there's a lot going on in Mexico, which is so important as our southern neighbor, that we pay attention to what's happening here. Another thing that's happening in terms of an update on Mexico, AMLO, the president of Mexico, has eliminated the mandates, and they're kind of phasing them out and getting rid of them. And now then there are protests to get the mandates back in place. I don't get it. I'm just telling you what I've read. But AMLO, the president, is really proceeding forward, I think, in a positive way. Also, let's see. You go ahead, Tammy. You take a turn.
Well, I was going to tell you that also that Title 42 is getting ready to expire in May, and Mr. B's considering lifting that early. That's the one that allows, the Border Patrol agents to return the illegals immediately, because, Trump had that in place due to the sickness, saying, that way they couldn't possibly bring it in. And with us still having restrictions here in the U.S., why, for heaven's sakes, is Biden trying to go ahead and eliminate that, or why wouldn't he extend it? The reason I bring that up too is because there's a guy named Ben, and it was off of Steve Bannon's War Room that I watched. Ben is a correspondent from Real America's Voice, and he was reporting live from Yuma, Arizona, talking about that, they're pouring in there, and that there was one border agent left at the wall with 120 males because the bus was taking the females and the children away, and that there's like 13,000 people pouring in from around the world, including India there. And he said he was making a comment that people are paying the cartel to get in because they have the dollars to get in. And
exactly.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that recently 3 states have filed lawsuit against the Biden administration for him attempting to remove that. That just came out too. And it's Arizona, Louisiana, and I think it was Missouri was the other one. So there is some action trying to get Biden, to not be able to do that. But this Ben guy was saying that in social media all the way around the world, that they're saying, hey, come to America. It's open. It's free. They're going to take care of you. You can start a new life. They'll take you where you need to go. So social media is also playing a huge part in the circulation of around the world to have these people coming in. So the people that have the money are just paying the cartel to come in here. So it's just very frustrating, Mary, like where you're at, the Arizona area and stuff. And I just found that very interesting. And the thing is, yeah, Lori, where are they all going? It's crazy. They're just being deposited in different parts of the country. I know here there's been a lot of them deposited. I have a friend who's still in family that live in Michigan, and up in the northern part of the Mitten, where, a lot of state land up there, they're depositing a bunch up there. So, and Mary has told us about her areas, what's going on there. So there is a lot of action going on with the border type stuff for sure. Then we can switch it up. I've got something else that popped last night from Durham. Durham last night dropped Michael Sussman a text that he had sent Okay, Mike Durham dropped it last night to the special counsel. It's talking of a joint venture to smear Trump and H's conspiracy against Trump. So the word conspiracy was actually used in the filing and the documentation along with a joint venture. So in this information that they dropped from Sussman, it said that multiple people are working together to hurt Mr. T at the time for his campaign and then affect the initial part of his presidency. And all the claims have been proven false or were proven false. However, H's people knew it was, and she gave the okay and allowed it all to happen and go forward. So all this got released last night, I guess, or the night before, in Sussman's text. So basically they're saying that's it for him, that he also contradicted himself, saying, I don't have a client. Because remember, there was a question, do you have a client that you're dealing with all this? And he's like, no. And then later on, he said, yes, I do have a client.
Right.
So basically, we're going to see who turns on who at this point, because they're all in deep trouble now. And that's basically the waiting game. Who's going to turn on who and who's going to say what against who? And then they expect more indictments from Durham.
Yes. And one of the things that you mentioned at the first part of that segment was conspiracy. I saw a great meme today about conspiracies, and I think it was a meme, doesn't matter. But the question was, does anybody have any spare conspiracies laying around? Mine have all come true.
How about, though, the word is finally in print somewhere in government against her and her people instead of it twisted on us, right? I mean, in her, it was true against him. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
Let me see. I just have so much other stuff to do as well. I'm getting
Well,
lost.
let me tell you about Russia. Shall we talk about Russia a little bit?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Russia has halted the shipments of gas to the EU. I just saw
Really?
that a little while ago. Yeah.
Whoa.
And so that should get somebody's attention.
I wonder whose.
You know, Putin is just not going to play anymore. He's tired of the games and just isn't going to play. So it will be very interesting to see what's happening in the next couple of days with that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We can't, isn't it funny? All the things that we heard when Mr. T was the president and in there is coming back. But the thing is, it's not aimed at him anymore. It's aimed at the people that were pointing the finger at him. And remember the saying, every time you point the finger, there's 3 coming back at you. So
absolutely,
I shouldn't be this excited, but I kind of am. Is that a bad thing? Should I ask for forgiveness later?
Absolutely not.
It just
start cheering.
Yeah, exactly. Hoo-ha, hoorah. Another thing I talked about a little while ago was that movie that's going to be released pretty soon, 2000 Mules by Dinesh Souza. We talked about that and how they actually used commercial geo-tracking for cell phone data. And True the Vote, which is a company or group of people that was founded, I think 2009, for the E-integrity. We're just going to say the E because we don't want to say that full word. Anyhow, they use geo-tracking and stuff and cell phone data and footage from drop boxes all across America and key states, especially mine here in Georgia. And it's tracking 2,000 mules that were paid $10 per ballot that they would drop. Okay, so that's coming out supposedly early anytime now, really, because they said early spring or spring. But this also brings me to the Rigged documentary that is coming out as well. And the Rigged documentary is actually being played tonight at Mar-a-Lago. Go figure.
Really?
And then yes.
Excellent.
And then after tonight, or after it's played there, you're going to be able to see it as well. And you go to, it is, where is that at? It is at www.rigged2020.com. And I think Tracy also has the link for that she can put in there, so you guys can grab that. And basically with the Rigged, what that is, it's a 40-minute documentary, and it's talking about all the different ways that these mules and stuff were funded, who funded them, how it was funded, where the money went. And it's very interesting because the 2000 Mules shows you the people and what they were actually doing, so you could see it. And then Rigged tells you the money, follow the money, because people always say follow the money. So this shows you the money trail. And I think that you could probably guess that the one person that funded a lot of it, we've talked about it, and his last name begins with a Z. So he, you're like, I know who you're talking about. It was 410 million. And a lot of it was actually here in Georgia and funded two different Dem areas that were known for corruption and stuff. So basically buying off the V's, VOTs. Okay. So my new buddy who I met, Mr. Newt Gingrich, came out and made a comment about that, a statement. So he said, in my mind, they were clearly rigging the E. And he said, I'm not convinced that the E was stolen on E Day. He said, I think the bigger story was that across the whole country for months, there was an effort to rig it, to make it virtually impossible for Mr. T to win. Now,
Absolutely. I've seen some clips from Dinesh D'Souza's work, and he is fantastic. I mean, that man is courageous. He was put in jail for his attempt to try to wake people up and save our nation. So I'm really excited about watching that movie Rigged also. I think it will be very important.
I think so too. There's the website that you guys can, or the link, so you guys can check it out. But I'm really excited to see it too. I want to see the 2000 Mules too. I can't wait for that to come out. But I find it very interesting that everything that was a conspiracy, now that you stated, has basically come true. And it's like Mr. T so far has seemed to be right just about everything. And when you see what it is people can put the pieces of the puzzle together, because every piece of the puzzle is important. So you don't say, well, oh, this is just one documentary about this or this. You look at the bigger picture, you step back and look at all the things that happened from then to now, and they've pieced it together in these two documentaries and actually put the puzzle together for us. So when you have people that may say, oh, I don't believe it, or I think, this and this, I believe that, you see this, you can handle these two pieces of information that have all the details that are undisputable to come to fruition, and there's no argument about it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
And for those of us in the truther community, we have a long time ago, at least for me, I became aware that so much was false information. And as it continues to come out, as it drips out, and then as it comes out in a fire hose, all of this information will at least give us something to replace all of the lies. We've been lied to about so much. I saw something, a video the other day where someone had a Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958. And those were the encyclopedias that I had in my house when I grew up as a child. And in the Encyclopedia Britannica, all of these conspiracies that we hear about. Did they really walk on the moon? Did they not walk on the moon? You know, is the earth flat? Is the earth round? All of these things that are out there now trying to, uh, uh, people trying to get some new information out, and it's so hard to discern what is the truth and what isn't the truth. But this man said that in 1958, and he opened up the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it had in there, and he just took a picture of it with his cell phone on that video, and it talked about the actual latitude and longitude and the math where they had they had sent a rocket of some sort that had bounced off. This is what the encyclopedia says, guys. The dome of the firmament. 1958 Encyclopedia Britannica. That's exactly what it said. And so we're going, all these conspiracies. Now the tricky part is the discernment, weeding through it, finding the truth, knowing what has been withheld from us, so that we can move into this new time in great joy, with a greater understanding about who we are and what our lives are going to be. It is very exciting, Tammy.
I think so too, Mary. And the firmament is in the Bible. It talks about a firmament. And that is not something that I paid much attention to or knew much about. And, I started looking at that kind of stuff and the whole flat earth thing. And, I wasn't convinced. I'm still not convinced. But boy, all these other things are popping up, and it just is interesting. And I can't believe how much we've been lied to and told to believe anything. And we fell for it. Why would we not? Trust has been broken and everything else. And so I'm not so sure that might not be true. And I saw the videos of Buzz. Was it Buzz that said, when that was asked about if he'd been there or not, and he said nobody has or something? And why would an astronaut say that? You know
exactly.
what
I mean? And the other day I saw it was supposed to be, the source was supposed to be a WikiLeaks drop that said, that was a video of them actually filming the moonwalk in Nevada. And it was the crew, yes, it was the crew set up, filming, doing everything that they had to do to stage the moonwalk. And the person who was moderating said, yes, this was all done in order to beat the Russians to the moon, in order to win the Cold War. It's just all made up.
It's so crazy, isn't it? And if it is not true, let's say, because some people say it's flat and then there's a dome over us, and then other people say, people have all different theories. But my thing is, boy, when you look at the stuff that's been put together on all this flat earth stuff, somebody went to a heck of a lot of trouble and time and are very creative, if you ask me. You know what I mean? For it all to be made up. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know what to think about that. So, do you have anything else you want to go to before I go to some of the stuff from Trump from Michigan?
This is just a quick point that I thought was fascinating. In the state of Pennsylvania, it's been brought to light that foreign nationals have been allowed to register and to vote for decades. Decades.
Come
I shouldn't
on.
say the V word, sorry.
Oh,
but
that's
yeah,
okay.
for decades. So just little bitty pieces of the puzzle, and it all is all falling in place, and it's so important that We just take what we want, leave the rest. And, it all will be revealed. The light is going to reveal everything we need to know, particularly for those of us who are believers.
Yeah, I have faith and belief in that too. I forgot to do talk about one more website, Mary Kay, one more link, and it is that this link has info and record of Judge Jackson for you guys to review. So you don't have to take our word for it. You can go to it's article3project.org. And Tracy, when she gets a minute, is going to drop that link in there as well. So you guys can go check it out for yourselves. This project is basically about, it's a website to try to keep judges on the up and ups, to give information about the judges and their records and all that stuff, and the way they rule, so people can be informed. And I think it's a very important website for people just to keep off this side in case you ever need it. Actually, all the links that we have tonight, we have 3 of them, are really good references. The contact senators.com is a really good one for any time you just want to have access to it. You just bookmark it and there you go. And I think the more we know, we talk about that all the time, the better we're going to do, and the better, more educated decisions we have. So there is the link for that. So I took a few notes in when Mr. T was doing his rally in Michigan. Since it's my home state, I wanted to pay attention and found it very interesting just who he was, endorsing and things like that. But I thought it was very interesting that this is the first time, Mary, and you probably caught this, that he did a rally on the inside in a smaller venue. It was handpicked people. I think it was about 4,000 or so people. He usually lets people outside. It's a large venue and things like that. So, I mean, I wonder if it has anything to do with, he says, once the heat starts turning up outside, the sickness will go away. And I wonder if he has a double explanation for heat, if it means the indictment thing, because it's kind of an interesting timing to me. And I know that's grasping and reaching, but it could be.
Well, we all, for those of us who have followed the 17th letter in the alphabet for some time, it's obvious that so much is brought forth and communicated through symbolism and the certain choices of words and gematria, and there's just a whole lot out there where they are really trying to give us information. So whenever the Mr. D man comes out and gives a speech, there's always multiple meanings to things, and that could be, the summertime. It could be, who knows what it is. But those people who follow him very, very carefully and then convert things into gematria, his communication to me is getting more and more open. He's telling us more and more, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. One of the people that he endorsed there from Michigan, Tom Leonard, brought this up in his little, when, Mr. T says, can you get up and say a few words? And he did. And he brought up the fact that when Mr. T was standing there and got inaugurated, and he had Bush on one side and Obama on the other, and Mr. T said he was giving the country back. He goes, today I give the country back to the people. And saying that, basically a constitutional republic, let's go, Tom Leonard said. So he referenced that moment with Mr. T. And I found that very interesting as well. Back to getting the country back to being a constitutional republic for the people. That was very impressive to me. And Mr. T just kind of smiled, because I remember that moment when he did that. And it was very substantial. So he did talk about that as well for a brief moment. And then also he talked about still Mr. T, still the leader of the party, basically not gone away. I mean, he's been such a major person, like he's never gone away, having all these rallies, his endorsement, every time he endorses somebody, they get in the lead. And, if he retracts an endorsement and says, oh, I made a mistake and regret that, then people follow it. So, he's still a great leader, no matter what he is, or what people believe. He's just a very inspirational, great leader. And, the energy inside that venue, you could almost feel it vibrate through the TV. And we need that kind of vibrance in the world and in our leaders, and to stand up. So I'm hoping that people pay attention to people he nominate. Of course, vet them. These people, you don't have to take his word for it, but it's a good start. And vet them, and do your own kind of digging, and see if you agree or not. And
And Tammy, last week on the Ladies of Liberty show on Thursday, if I recall correctly, I believe that's when it was, we talked about devolution and president in exile. And it's so important for everyone to understand those concepts whenever we're listening to him speak at a rally or anywhere. If we start to understand the legal sequence of events that occurred, starting with an executive order that was signed by Mr. T 1 month after the stolen E in that month of November. That executive order put in play a series of events that allowed the president to function and the government to function as a government in exile. And that's why he is being acknowledged, and his officials are being acknowledged in various countries around the world. If y'all missed that show on devolution and president in exile, I would suggest that you go back and find that. It really was, I thought it was very educational.
Somebody in chat was saying, is it Mr. T doing another rally next Saturday? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
So if somebody in chat can look it up and let us know, that'd be great, and help everybody out. I'm not sure about it. I know there were a few of them planned. Another little bit of nugget, I like to call them news nuggets, Mary, because there's a lot of little nuggets that have been popping up, like the Durham thing last night and stuff, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that I think snuck through, I don't know if you knew about it, is Ghislane Maxwell was denied a new trial in her case. They denied her having a new trial. So that is an accomplishment and a wonderful thing for our side, I guess you'd say, for,
absolutely,
her fighting for that. Gosh, crazy. And then another one was DeSantis was slamming Disney execs for their response to that parental rights law. I want to say kudos to him, because, obviously that's what people do in families. They go to Disney, and then the stuff you find out about them and what's been happening, it just makes me sick to the stomach. I guess we could go on and on about how they want to normalize these people who prey on children. And to me, that seems like exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to normalize it. And this judge that is, being considered to be the next Supreme Court justice is totally for those people. And, this is a dire time that we really need to be paying attention to this. When people say, well, maybe there's not that many, or maybe it's blown out of proportion, one's too many, in my opinion. And I don't know about you down there, but here in my state, I see different rings broken up all the time. I mean, Atlanta's one of the major hubs for that stuff that's going on, that sex trafficking and stuff. And it's so disheartening. It just goes on and on and on. It'll be like a 100 people here, 30 people here, 50 people here. And it's just nonstop.
They're saying in chat that they can't even look at Disney anymore. Honestly, kids, there's not much I can look at anymore in terms of these major corporations and their advertising campaigns, what they're putting on in ads, with just the abolishment of all moral codes and all boundaries of what is right, what is wrong. there's just no sense of any ethics or morals anymore, and they're just bombarding people's minds with it. Disney, even when I walk through the line at the grocery counter and you look down some of the maybe Disney toys that are there, I really wish, and I hope and pray that the day will come that this wonderful thing of Disney can be restored to a magnificent, innocent fantasy land that children and adults both enjoy, to really have fun with the entire family, with family values in place.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. When you start going into the different symbolism, because we've talked about that before, and the part that they play in it, whether it's cartoons or clothing or toys and stuff, it's just terrible. Once your eyes can see and the scales fall off, you know what? It's amazing how in our face that it is.
Right.
It's hard to hide from it at all anymore. And what you said about with the children, just the abuse of these innocent children. The other day, Kamala was out and about taking pictures with these kids, and I don't know if you saw it or not. I don't know what event it was, but they all had the face thing on, but she did not. She did not. And that angered me so much. I was like, how dare they have us feel guilty, get thrown in jail, and say that we are bad people because we don't want to do that to our children. And they come out there so boldly in the public and take pictures like that. It's just, I think enough is enough is enough,
Yes.
Enough is enough. And the other good thing DeSantis did, I don't know if you saw this, but he's actually suing Mr. B over the extended mandates.
I did see that. That's fantastic. The more people actively use the legal system as it is, whatever they can do to stop some of the insanity, because that's what it is. It's insanity. Just to see Kamala Harris there without that and everybody else with one. I mean, where, there's such a disconnect. Why can people not see that? And yet the other part of me says, well, because they sit in front of their television programming so that they get fresh programming all of the time, and then they don't see. That's just how it works.
It is, unfortunately, that's how it works until now, because now that there's enough people that see it and are doing something about it and fighting back. And that's what's so important to do. And, that's what it is people that don't want to see. You can't really make them see, but, that's what's frustrating. But, you just have to pray, and you have to pray that there's enough good people in this world that are taking action to help make the change and the difference. And if the kids, don't make you see, I don't know if anything can, because I always say they're the innocents. And these children that, have gone through all they've gone through, we owe it to them. We owe it to humanity to make sure this is taken care of once and for all with all these people. And you look at all the different CEOs that have stepped down over the months, and all the different charges of that kind of thing that have been brought against them or different members in government. And it's more than a couple fingers. It's both hands and your toes and then some. And to me, that shows how big of 900,000 children
Yes.
every year. That's
on the which I forget which website is, but that's a solid number, because I have looked that up before. So, Tammy, excuse me for interrupting you, dear. I didn't mean to, but what kind of concerns me is, okay, so now they're bringing, if they say they're flying 1,700 Ukrainians into Tijuana, and there were Carol Z, I think, put it in chat a while ago, where does all the money go? What, there's so many unanswered questions. And so my question is, if there are people coming into Tijuana, or these people are coming across the southern border from countries all around the world, if that's the case, then how can they be tracked? Who knows where they wind up? If they get sucked in because they're dealing with the cartels, if they're paying the cartels to get them in to the United States, that's not good. That's not good. No
Well,
matter where they wind up.
absolutely. And there's been millions, and when they're pouring in every day at at your area, and then the Arizona that I saw yesterday or today, it was on Bannon's show. It's just it's crazy because now we're talking about the different food shortages that are supposed to be brought about, et cetera, et cetera. In New York, they were supposed to yesterday. I didn't see if they actually put that mandate back in, but they were supposed to for everybody five and over to the face thing again. And I didn't see anything if they did actually enact that or not, but they were trying to. And I know that the mayor was saying that if we aren't successful this first go around, we'll just keep pushing and pushing until we can get it all back in, because we don't want to go back to where we were. And if cases are escalating and rising, we're just going to put our foot down and do whatever we can to keep you safe. And that's just an out and out bold BS.
Right.
It's not
Right.
true. It's not true.
You mentioned food shortages, and I saw an interesting little pearl that AMLO, the president here in Mexico, is considering, and the Congress here is considering price controls because of the inflation that's happening here in Mexico, and particularly price controls on food. So, the whole world is being affected, and at least I was grateful. I don't know all the consequences, but I was grateful. The people have to be able to buy food. They have to be able to feed themselves and their families. And even in the worst of the lockdowns, where I live, even in the very worst of the lockdowns, the economy kept going. I mean, people have to work. The people in the construction business, they would get up in the morning and they would, go wherever they needed to work, and they would work. And none of the workers that I was aware of stopped working. The only thing that they did was like shut down the restaurants and the small businesses. But people, I think, have had enough. I even saw where the Chinese, millions of Chinese are beginning to rise up. That would be astonishing.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also a lot of different protests and things going on in New York and New Jersey. My friend was saying that, of course, the news media outlets aren't showing that, but they've had enough and they are standing up and fighting back. I hadn't heard from them today or not whether, like I said, that mandate or whatever did get enacted or not. But I know that people are fighting it. They're just not showing it. You really have to go and search around a lot and put effort in to try to find out what the truth is, because it's being buried. And we all know for many months now, when videos go up, they get taken down, or information on the internet gets taken down. And there's different search engines now that have been compromised. So now there's another search engine out. It's called Brave, that they say you should try that. And I've been using it. It was recommended by one of my friends here. And that's been going well. It's just, we have to stay on our toes and stay alert. I know it's tiring. I know we're exhausted. I know we're angry, but that's why you have to stay in prayer, ask for the energy, the discernment, to be able to have the energy and the discernment to go out there. And when you look around, to pull out what you need to give you the information for you to make the best decisions you can for you and your family. I know I do have extra stuff stored up here, you know, the food, the water, the rice, all that kind of stuff. You know, the batteries, we have, you know, candles, all that kind of stuff that you can have to try to stay on. You know, I've been doing that actually since for a year on and off. I'm not going to complain about it because at least I know I'm always going to be ready. When you say Mary Kay all the time, it's great about having patience and there is no timeline. The enormity of what is going on in this country on so many different levels, how can you put a timeline on it? The best thing you can do, in my opinion, is try to stay calm, pray, and stay educated and be prepared.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I too, Tammy, after I saw that DuckDuckGo was taken over by the dark side. I too have been using Brave also, and that's been working well for me. And that's supposed to be, at this point, that's supposed to be secure. And no, Tammy, I'm not using burner phones yet.
I did. Yeah, I'm like, Mary, you got a burner phone? I just like the term. I'm not even quite sure what they are, to tell you the truth. I know that they can't be tracked or traced or something, right? And then you just throw them out if you need to. But
Yeah,
that's
it's kind of like prepaid. You prepay for a few minutes, and after you've used it up, then you just toss them in the trash.
Well, I think that you thank you all the time that you have patience with me because there's a lot of things that I seriously don't understand. It's overwhelming, and I don't have a problem admitting that. And I was talking to you before about currencies and you know the whole thing going on, it's great information. Like they had on the other night, Mike had the show on and stuff, but boy, I have to watch it over and over because it's a lot to absorb. And it's one of those things that's just going in my head and it doesn't want to stick yet. So you're very good with currencies and stuff and the different kinds of monies that are out there. I can handle gold and silver, but anything other than that kind of makes my brain smoke. But I'm determined to get it and make decisions. I know I got to pump it up, but be a little more quicker about it. But
Tammy, you see that? Let's see who's saying that. When Tammy and the General announced they're using burner phones, duck and cover.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Never, never, never. Brave browser. Yes, they're new. That is, I think that's one of the best little statements of the night, Mary. And
Me too.
never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be here doing this at all. You know, not at all. Not at
You,
all. you you've got the life experience. You've had all kinds of travels and experiences, you know, degrees and all this. I mostly worked with people. All my careers is people, people, people. So when you all start talking about the monies and you know legal stuff and like these laws, I'm like, whoo. But you know what? I have to tell you, it feels good to test yourself and learn and keep getting educated instead of saying, you know what, here, you know, handing it to somebody saying, read this for me, and then let me know if I should sign it or not. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be informed. I want to understand every time I have a signature on something or I make a vote or do something on anything. I want to make sure that I fully understand it. And it's never too late to start, you know?
it is not. It is not. People, I've had some of my friends say, well, why are you learning Spanish? Seriously? Seriously? Why are you not learning Spanish? Of course, they're not living in Mexico, but same kind of thing. I want to read what I'm signing. I want to understand what I'm signing. And if when we stop learning, we're in trouble. It doesn't matter what the age appears to be, doesn't matter any of that. I hear so many people say, oh, I can't do that. My brain is too old. Well, then they won't. They'll just get stuck and not learn. But it's so important that we keep learning, particularly in today's world, because we were lied to about so much.
Yeah, so really everybody is starting over again because we're trying to find out the truth. So you're going to make mistakes as you try to find the truth. It's like anything, but if you don't, I've said this before, but I really believe this in everything in life. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down or fall down. It just matters that you get up, and
Exactly.
if I misspeak on here sometimes, or I don't say the right thing, you know what, people in chat will correct me, that's fine, but at least I learn from it. At least I'm getting out here and I'm trying to help put knowledge into people. And even if I have to read it off my paper, that's what I do. I want to be accurate and make sure. So if I say something wrong, people can correct me. You don't have to believe what I say. I always say, research it yourself. And you just have to, you can get tired of hearing that, but now's the time you just have to do it. If you care about your children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, whatever it may be, in the next generations in this world, then you need to be part of the change. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And it's just how it is. We're fighting here. This is a war, spiritual war we're in. And we need to do our part, whatever that may be. Stepping out there, not being comfortable. I don't know all these laws and stuff about, but if it's on a piece of paper and you've researched it and you pull the documents, you can go like this and read it until you absorb it. And then there you go. Like you said, Mary, it's never too late and people shouldn't give up.
That's exactly right, Tammy. Tammy, you're doing a great job. I want to tell you, you have a lot of courage, you have a lot of gumption, and really you are doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's about all I had for tonight, Mary. Is there anything else you want to add? Otherwise, we can wrap it up. There was just a lot to cover. Tracy's, you guys, is re-dropping all those links in for the Rigged movie documentary. Remember, that's playing tonight at Mar-a-Lago, so it should be available. They said after it airs there. So I don't know if that means later tonight or tomorrow, but I think that'll be very interesting for people. And then your Contact Senators website link is being dropped. And what was the other one? Oh, the article one. If you want to find out about Judge Jackson, the article one. Yep, Article 3 project.
Yep, I think that's about it, Tammy. I don't have anything else.
I'm good. I'm sweating
Okay.
up a storm here because Mary couldn't get in, and I was worried about that again. But to God be the glory. Here we go. She got in, and we haven't had any trouble, so I appreciate that. And I think it was a good, quick night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. So Mike could get taken care of what he needed to be taken care of. We appreciate each and every one of you for being part of Liberty Warrior Nation family. We love you guys and the information and comments that you have and provide. You are part of this channel, obviously, because without you, it'd be me, Mary and I talking to each other, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but to make change.
We would enjoy it.
Yes, but to make change in the world, we need to spread it out further than a few of us, right, Mary?
Exactly.
Okay. So, Mary, you want to go ahead and pray us out?
I sure will. Will. And I want to tell everybody in chat how much I appreciate you. Everybody out there, I love you all. Love all of you great people who pray for us all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Heavenly Father, we join tonight once again in gratitude. We thank you for everything that has been said here. May everyone who needs to hear the words of this program click on this program in the next few days and hear exactly what they need to hear for encouragement, to be lifted up, to understand that the light is here now. Everything will be revealed, and Jesus the Christ is in control, and all is well. Amen and amen.
Amen. All right. What's tomorrow? I'm off here. Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So Mike will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time with the devotions. He's got a full day tomorrow, I think. Then he goes headline hits, then Podbean, and then the big show tomorrow night. So he'll be back all day tomorrow. War Machine, great job, right, Mary Kay? He's great behind the scenes.
He is awesome. War Machine, we love you. You are amazing.
I'm going to see if he's going to be brave and pop out or not. Give him a second. No. Nope, he's staying quiet. Oh, there
All
he
right,
is.
thank you.
There he is.
I told you I'd win that.
You told
Hey,
us
thank
what?
you, Mary. I really appreciate it.
That's
We
awesome.
appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you guys also.
See,
Okay.
he is the man, the myth, the
Hi.
legend. He does exist. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight. Love you, Mary. Love everybody. God bless. Have a safe, peaceful evening. I hope everybody gets a good night's rest. And I guess we'll see you guys next time, okay?
Bye-bye all.
Bye.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out. I can see in all directions. It's all open to interpretation, but I see colors that are breaking from the other side, the other side. When I make mountains out of summer trails, when I buckle under all the details, I'll keep going till I make it to the other side, the other side. Can you tell me the secret of how you can take it or leave it? How you can blend in with the crowd? I'm so scared, so